पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमः श्री शङ्करानन्द। गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे। Verse 40th. इदं रूप्यमिदं वस्त्रं इति यद्वदिदं तथा असौ त्वमहमित्येषु स्वयमित्यभिमन्यते। अहं त्वाद्भिद्यतां स्वत्वम् कूटस्थेतेन किं तव। स्वयं शब्दार्थ एवैषः कूटस्थ इति मे भवेत्। अन्यत्ववारकं स्वत्वम् इति चेदन्यवारणम्। कूटस्थस्यात्मतां वक्तुः इष्टमेव हि तद्भवेत्। स्वयमात्मेति पर्यायौ तेन लोके तयोः सह। प्रयोगो नास्त्यतः स्वत्वम् आत्मत्वं चान्यवारकम्। घटस्वयं न जानाति इत्येवं स्वत्वं घटादिषु। अचेतनेषु दृष्टं चेत् दृश्यतामात्मसत्त्वतः। So in that long discussion, it was shown that there is a difference between what we call aham and swayam. In other words, swayam is something that obtains in he, you and I all, like Devadattah swayam gachet, tvam swayam vikshasva, aham swayam na shaknomi. In this manner, swayam gets associated with he, you and I. Self gets associated with all of these, yourself, myself, etc. Himself, However, I doesn't get similarly associated, and therefore I is a modification of Swam which varies with different people. Therefore Swam is common and I is not, so we say that I is the Ahankara which is superimposed upon the Swam. Swam is the same as Kutastha and I is the Chidabhasa or the reflected consciousness or the sense of individuality, the Aham. And we said that Kutastha alone is Atma. So Swam means Kutastha and Swam means Atma. Why is it so? Because Swam conveys the idea of excluding the other, and Atma also means exclusion of the other. And therefore Swam means Atma. What do we mean by Atma? Atma means I, means not other. So in that I, there is an exclusion of the other. Similarly also Swam conveys the idea of excluding the other, and therefore Swam and Atma mean the same thing, where Swam and Kutastha mean the same thing, and the Atma alone is Kutastha, and that Ahankara is Chidabhasa, which is superimposed upon Kutastha. Then a nice, very beautiful Purvapaksha was brought up, that the Swam Shabda or the self is also employed in case of Achetana, meaning insentient things such as Ghatapata. Ghataha Swayam na janati, the part itself does not know, and so we see to imply a self of the part also. So if part also has a self, then how can you say that that self is Atma or Kutastha, because Kutastha is Chaitanyam and part is Achetana, Jada. So how can Chaitanyam be there in this Jada objects, inert objects such as Ghatapata? We say that Chaitanyam is there in Ghatapata also. So you must understand what Chaitanyam means. Chaitanyam is very much there in a part and a cloth and everything, because it is that Chaitanyam which is the nature of Satchidananda that provides Satya to the part as well as Sfuranam to the part. And so Satya Spurana Rupena Atma Chaitanyasya Ghatavishu api Sattvat. Even in such inert objects as Ghatapata, Atma Chaitanya is very much present, because of which this Ghatapata enjoy Sattva and Sfuranam, existence and shining. And therefore, if Swayam Shabda Prayogaha or the use of the word self is there in case of inert things, it is quite alright, because Atma Chaitanya is very much present in inert objects also. Then a question is asked now before the verse 45. Nanu ghatavishu api atma chaitanyasya sattve chetana achetana vibhagah nirnimittika syat. If you say that Atma Chaitanyam is there in Ghatapata also, as much as it is there in sentient beings, so if the Atma Chaitanyam or Atma, which is consciousness or awareness, is there in inert objects as well as in sentient beings, then what is the difference between the two? I thought that inert objects are those which do not have Atma, and conscious or sentient beings are those which have Atma. And that is how we in fact make the distinction between inert and sentient, as those which possess Atma and those which do not possess Atma. So, nanu ghatavishu api Atma Chaitanyasya sattve. If in inert objects such as Ghata etc. also, if according to you Atma Chaitanyam or awareness or Atma is present equally, Chetana Achetana Vibhagah Nirnimittakah, then this division of Chetana and Achetana or Jada and Chetana, inert and sentient, does not seem to be of any use. Nirnimittakah means doesn't seem to serve any purpose at all. Why? Because so the reason, as we said, the need to create further divisions is if it can serve a certain purpose. So we thought that the division of inert and sentient served the purpose to show that In sentient beings the Atma was, and in inert beings the Atma is not, and that is how the division of sentient and inert serves a purpose. If according to you Atma Chaitanya is in both of them, then why do you divide the two as inert and sentient? It's iti ashankya. Meaning, what is it that determines the division between inert and sentient? If presence and absence of Atma is not the criterion to judge whether something is inert or conscious or sentient, then what is it that determines that division? That's the question. So, chetana achetana vibhagasya chidabhasa sattva asattva lakshana karana sadbhavat mayavam. He says it is not Atma which is absent, but there is another factor, which when present something is called, a being is called sentient, and which when absent the being is called inert. And what is that? Chidabhasa, or the reflected consciousness, where subtle body is. So where the subtle body is, we call that being a sentient. Where the subtle body is not, we call that insentient. So how Atma is different from subtle body? The whole world thinks that there is no Atma in Ghata, Pata, etc. Because Atma is always associated with life. But the expression of life is because of subtle body. And so, not that Atma is absent where life is not, but then it is subtle body that is absent where life is not. So, Chetana Achetana Vibhagasya Chidabhasa Sattva Asattva Lakshana Karana Sadbhavat. There is a Karana of the cause, namely Chidabhasa Sattva, presence of Chidabhasa, Chidabhasa Asattva, absence of Chidabhasa. That is the nature of cause which in fact determines the division between inert and sentient. Iti pariharati. This is the answer given there. Chetana Chetana Bhida Kutasthatma Krita Nahi Kintu Buddhi Krita Bhasa Krute Vetyavagamyatam. Chetana Achetana Bhida. Bhida means the division. So Bhida is a feminine. Bheda, Bhida, all of these mean the same thing. It comes from the root Bhid, means to divide. So Chetana Achetana Bhida. This division between Chetana and Achetana, meaning sentient and insentient, is Kutastha Atma Krita Nahi. It is not in fact brought about by the Kutastha Atma. So it is not the presence and absence of Kutastha Atma which is responsible for the division of Chetana and Achetana. Kintu, Kim then. Kintu means then what? Kim, then what is it that brings about the division? Buddhi Krita Abhasa Krita Eva iti avagamyatam. Avagamyatam made be understood that Buddhi Krita Abhasa Krita. So that Abhasa means Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. And where would consciousness be reflected? Where there is Buddhi. So Buddhi means the mind in this case. Where Antahkarana of the mind is, its nature it is to reflect consciousness. Just as where the mirror is, its nature it is to reflect whatever is in front of mirror. Where the water is there in the bucket, its nature is to reflect the sun that is shining. And so also wherever the Buddhi is, its nature is to reflect Chit or consciousness. And therefore, that Chidabhasa or the reflected consciousness that is brought about on account of presence of Buddhi is what in fact is responsible for the division of Jada and Chetana. So what we call Jada or inert beings are those which do not have subtle body, and what we call sentient beings are those which possess subtle body, and that is what makes a difference. So don't you think that Atma is absent in inner things? It is equally present as Satta and Spurti. So Nanu Chetana Achetana Vibhagasya Chidabhasa Sattva Asattva Prayutatva Abhivagame Acetaneshu Atma Sattva Abhivagama Nisprayojanasya Adivyasankya. Now, he says Nanu Chetana Achetana Vibhagasya. This division between Chetana and Achetana, meaning sentient and inert. Chidabhasa sattva asattva pravrittvatva abhyupagame. Abhyupagame is accepting. If you accept, in according to the opposite Siddhanta, that it is a presence, sattva and asattva, so Chidabhasasya sattvam, Chidabhasasya asatvam. It is sattva and asattva, meaning presence and absence of Chidabhasa or reflected consciousness, that alone brings about the division between Chetana and Achetana, sentient and inert. Achetaneshu api atmasattva abhyupagamo nishprayojana syad. It means that you do not require presence or absence of Atma to bring about this division of Chetana and Achetana, but according to you, it is presence and absence of Chidabhasa that brings about the division. Then the question is, why do you have to assume that there is Atma in inert objects? Your assumption of Atma in inert objects, what purpose does it serve? We thought that presence and absence of Atma brought about this division of inert and sentient. We say no, it is presence and absence of Chidabhasa that brings about. If Chidabhasa alone brings about that, then why do you imagine that there is Atma in this wall or Atma in Ghatabata? What that particular assumption on your part or acceptance of Atma being present in inert object also, what purpose does it serve? If it doesn't serve the purpose of creating the division of sentient and insentient, then what purpose does it serve? And if imagination of Atma in an inert object does not serve any purpose, then you should not imagine Atma is there. So whenever you accept anything, then there must be a purpose behind it. If Vedantin says that Atma is there in inert beings also, then what purpose that understanding or that Siddhanta serve? Nishprayojana syad. It seems to us that your assumption or your acceptance that Atma is present in inert things does not seem to serve any purpose at all, because it doesn't seem to make any difference at all. Iti ashankya Chetana Achetana Vibhaga Hetutvena Kutasthasya Anabhyupagamatvevi Achetana Kalpana Adhisthanatvena Kutastha Abhyupagantavya iti. He says it is true, Chetana Achetana Vibhaga Hetutvena Kutasthasya Anabhyupagamatvevi. Even though the presence or absence of Kutastha is not the cause for division of Chetana and Achetana, and therefore it is true that Atma being present or Kutastha being present in inert thing doesn't serve the purpose of creating the division of Chetana and Achetana, but it serves another purpose. What is it? Achetana kalpana adhisthanatvena kutastha api abhyupagantavya. We say that what we call Achetana or Jada, that Jada also is superimposed upon something because it is mithya. And what we call sentient, that also is superimposed upon something because that is also mithya. So as far as we are concerned, both Jada and Chetana, both are mithya. And wherever mithya is, there must be a satya adhishthanam. And so in as much as even the inert objects such as Ghatabata are mithya, therefore the Kutastha Chaitanyam must be present there as adhishthanam. And also, in as much as even this individual also is mithya, the sentient being also is mithya, the Kutastha Chaitanyam must be present there also as adhishthanam. And therefore, our assumption that Atma is present in the inner things also serves to provide the adhishthanam or substratum for the kalpana of that Ghatapata. Because even though Ghatapata is Ishvara Srishti, in the ultimate sense, it is only mithya. Because when you really analyze what Ghata is or Pata is, you find that ultimately it reduces itself only to Asti Bhati Priyam, and that name and form are found to be really mithya, meaning appearing to be there, but then not really there in the ultimate sense. And therefore, wherever name and form is, there is mithya. Whether that name and form is Jada or Chaitanya, it doesn't matter to us. But then, both of them being mithya, there must be that satya adhishthanam. And therefore, our assumption, not assumption, but our principle that Atma is present in inner things also serves the purpose of providing adhishthanam or substratum for the superimposition of that inert name and form, and so Atma must be there. So Achetana Kalpana Adhishthanatvena Kutasthopi Abhipagantavyaha. So there is one thing common between Jada and Chetana, and that is Mithyatvam, and therefore that Satya Adhishthanam has to be there. So Adhisthanatvena Kutastha Abhipagantavyaha, that Kutastha has to be accepted as Adhishthanam of the Achetana. Iti Abhiprayana Ghatadehe Tatra Kalpitatvam Sadrushtantam. That Ghatavi, meaning all the inert objects such as Ghata, etc., all of these are superimposed or projected upon this Kutastha Chaitanyam, and that is being said in the verse 46, Sadrushtantam, along with an illustration. Yatha Chetana Abhasaha Kutasthe Bhranti Kalpitaha Achetano Ghatadischa Tatha Tatraiva Kalpitaha. Yatha Chetanah Abhasah Kutasthe Bhranti Kalpitaha. Bhrantya Kalpitaha. Just as Chetanah Abhasah, this what we call the sentient being, namely Chidabhasa, or this reflected consciousness, or this Ahankara, the individuality, Kutasthe Bhranti Kalpitaha. How that individual Ahankara is something that is projected upon Kutastha. So Ahankara we know is Mithya. It is something that is superimposed upon Atma Chaitanyam or Kutastha Chaitanyam. So how Ahankara or Chidabhasa is superimposed upon Kutastha Chaitanyam. Tatha, in the same manner, Achetanaha Ghatadischa Tatraya Kalpitaha. In the same manner, Ghatadihi Achetanaha. Even this part, etc., which are inert, Tatraya, on the same Atma Chaitanya, Tatraya Kalpitaha, they are superimposed or projected upon the same Atma Chaitanya. So that Kutastha Chaitanya upon which the Chidabhasa is superimposed, in the same manner upon the same Kutastha Chaitanya, this Ghatadi also is superimposed. Meaning that both Jada and Chetana are Mithya. And however, this division of Jada and Chetana is for the purpose of Vyavahara. Why is it said? Because it is Chetana which undergoes, which suffers the samsara. The Jada does not suffer the samsara. It was said earlier itself. How when you paint something on the canvas, then only human beings drawn there are, we generally draw clothes, etc., for the people there. Not for mountains, etc., because mountains, etc., do not require clothes, and we don't draw them. And similarly also, this Upadhi is for what? For the common conscious beings, and not for this inner things such as Ghatapata. And therefore, and why do you imagine this Upadhi here? Because that is what suffers samsara. And so it is a conscious being which possesses this subtle body, which reflects therefore consciousness. And therefore, where the Chidabhasa or reflected consciousness is, that is where the samsara is. And therefore, we have to make the division between Jada and Chetana. We need not make it from the stand of Satya and Mithya. Both are Mithya, alright. However, still make the division for the purpose of Vyavahara usefulness, because the Jada doesn't have samsara, while Chetana has samsara. And so, that division is necessary. Otherwise, as far as Kalpittatvam or Mithyatvam is concerned, both are Mithya. Now, a little bit of digression again to clear up some point, technical point, absolute technical point. When you say absolute technical, means academic, So that point is taken up and cleared up. You must imagine, you must also understand who are the people who are addressed very often. In all this discussion in Naiyayikas, means the logicians are addressed. So logicians are not only are the people who depend upon logic or tarka to arrive at that siddhanta, but they have their own siddhanta, meaning they have their own idiosyncrasy which we do not know. Sometimes we will not know the arguments. So there are certain principles or certain positions rather, and we are taking those positions into account and attacking them or dismissing them, or using that position to dismiss something else which they project, And sometimes therefore it becomes necessary to know who are the people who are Purva Pakshis, and then you will know the manner in which the answer is given or the position is refuted. So here the Naiyayikas, the Tarkikas are the Purva Pakshis. स्वत्व आत्मत्वयोः एकत्वे अतिप्रसंगम शंकते. So now the discussion is brought back. What is the discussion? That Swatva is Atmatva, Swam. Swam being common everywhere, we say that it is the Kutastha Chaitanyam, and Swam is that which excludes Anyatvam, and Atma is that which excludes Anyatvam. So Swam is Atma, and so we say Swam and Atma both are in fact Paryaya, or they are the synonyms, and therefore we never use them both together in the same sentence. So that now he has remembered that discussion, and now he brings it back. Svatva atmatvayoho ekatve atiprasangah. Atiprasangah means what? When any rule is applicable to more than what you intend to apply to, it is called atiprasangah. Prakrutat anyatra prasanjanam atiprasangah. So what is the subject and the discussion? If the rule that you present applies to more than what you intend to present, it is called atiprasangah. For example, we say that an animal with 4 legs is cow. Cow is an animal with 4 legs. Only atiprasangah, because there are many other like horse, etc., also animals with 4 legs. And then, if this is the definition we give, a cow is an animal with 4 legs, there will be atiprasangah, meaning it will cover too much. It will cover too many things over and above the cow. That is called atiprasangah. Yasya bodha yatra abhivadaha tat anyasyapi bodha prasangah. That's the reason why when we make a statement, you have to be very clear as to whether our statement covers too much ground or does not cover enough ground sometimes. We say that an animal with 4 legs and which is white is cow. Suppose you say that will exclude all the black cows. Then there is what? Then it covers too little ground. So there should not be nunata or atireka. Excessiveness also is not there, or contraction also should not be there. Your definition should be such that it exactly applies or precisely applies to that which you want to define. The definition should not be too general, otherwise too many things will be included, or should not be too restrictive, that it does not even cover the object that you want to define. So if you define cow as an animal with 2 horns and this and all kinds of characters and having white color, then it will exclude cows of other color. Then there is called nunavritti, meaning that it does not cover adequate ground. And if you give a general definition such as cow is an animal with 4 legs, then it covers horses and all kinds of buffaloes also, and that is called atiprasangah or atirikta vritti. So he says that on account of the argument that Swayam obtains in Devadatta, in Tvam and Aham, so because Swayam obtains in the 3rd person, 2nd person and 1st person, and therefore is common to everybody, and therefore is Atma, then we shall give you other illustrations now, which obtain in 3rd person, 2nd person and 1st person. Then you will accept all those things outside Atma. If Atma is defined as that which obtains in all these 3, then if we give you 2 more things which obtain in all the 3, then that also will have to be called Atma. In that case, there will be atiprasangah, or your rule is too general. And that's the question that is raised in the verse 47. Swatva atmatvayoho ekatve atiprasangam shankate. If you say that swatvam and atmatvam is the same, then other things also will have to be accepted as Atma, as the verse 47 says. Tatte dante api swatvam ivattvamahamadishu sarvatranugate tena tayorapyatmate ched. Tatte dante means what? Tatta idanta, and the dual of that is tatte, tatta idante. See? So idanta, idante, idantaha. Suppose we had a form like that, Rama, Rame, Ramaha. So tatte idante, dual. And that's the reason why there is no sandhi after tatte idante api. Because wherever the form ends in dual and ends in e, u or a, then there is no, then the following vowel does not combine with that. Therefore, otherwise, that api should combine, a should combine with the previous a, it doesn't. So, tatte dante api, swatvam iva, tvam ahamadishu, sarvatra anugate. We say that, swatvam iva, just as you earlier gave the illustration, that swatvam means swayam, is anugatam, tvam ahamadishu. In you, I and he, in all of them, that swayam is anugatam. Devattaha swayam gachet. Tvam swayam vikshasva. Aham swayam na shaknomi. So Devatta should himself go. You should yourself see. I myself cannot do. Thus you showed by illustrations that swatva or swayam or self is common to all the three, and therefore it is Atma. So you said. So just as that swayam or self or swatva is common to all the three, we say that tatta and idanta also is common. So says the footnote number 1. Sa devadatto gacchati satyam vikshasva soham na shaknomi ityavam sarvatra anugatatvam. Soham bhagavat sochami, as Narayana says to Sanat Kumara, that I who is such means what? Who is the one who knows everything. So when Narayana and Sanat Kumara asked Narad Muni as to what is it that you know? Adhivavo Brahma, that's how Narad Muni went to Sanat Kumara. But please teach me Brahma. And before teaching him Brahma, Sanat Kumara asks Narad Muni, please first tell me what is it that you know? And Narad Muni gives a long list of what all he knows. So many vidyas he knows. And having said that, Soham Bhagavat Sochami, that I who is so learned is Sochami, but I am still grieving. So this is how we say, Saha Aham Sochami. The Saha is a form of Tat. So masculine nominative is Saha. That means that Tat is obtained, that goes with Aham. Saha devadatto gacchati, that devadatta goes. So that also Tat obtains, with devadatta means the third person. Satvam vikshasva, that you see, meaning that which is so and so you see. So this is very commonly said in Sanskrit. English also we say this. So this I or you such as this must do this. He such as this did not do it. And so that thisness very often, this person, that thisness goes very often with, so tatta and idanta, both. Idam aham or idam, I am aham, that's how it is. I am aham. And so this is how that the form of idam also goes with aham and form of tat also goes with aham. Aham, tvam, saha, with all of them you can join this. So just as in this common usage, we also join that and this with you, O, I and he. Just as the self is joined, self is found to be associated with he, you and I in all the three persons. So also we find this and that are also found to be associated with all the three persons in the common usage. As footnote number gave one illustration, Sa devadatto gacchati, that devadatta goes, Satyam vikshasva, you such as that may you say, Soham na shaknomi, I who is such, I do not know. Iti evam sarvatra anugatatvam. In this manner, everywhere that Tat is found. Just as Swayam is found, so Tat also is found. So if according to you, just because Swayam is found in these three places associated with these three, therefore it should be called Atma, then Saha meaning Tat also is associated with all the three, then that also should be called Atma. And Idam also is found to be associated with all the three, and therefore that also should be called Atma. Sistvam ahamadishu sarvatra anugadasya swatvasya sarvatra anugatoho tattedintoho api atmaswarupada kim nasyat. And so tatta idanta, both of them, so that and this, both of them are also, these pronouns are also found to be associated with all the three persons, and then why should they also not be called Atma? If Swayam on account of being associated with the three can be called Atma, then why not this and that which are also associated be called Atma? This is a question. Then answer is tatte idantayoho tatta idantayoho atmatva adhika vrittitvat atmatvam na sambhavati iti aha. So he says that tatta and then idanta, so atmatva adhika vrittitvat, adhika vrittitvat adhika deshe vartamanatvat. We say that tatta and idanta obtains in more than atma. So atmatva adhika vrittitvat, tatta and idanta obtain in more places than atmatva, and therefore it is not atmatva. We say that Swayam obtains only where Atma is and nowhere else. So now look at the footnote number 2, we will see what is meant here. Yaha yam nunati vritti saha tat sarupo na bhavati, even na should be added there. It looks like there is an error there. Yam nunati vritti saha tat sarupo na bhavati. Nuna vritti atirikta vritti. Vritti means vartamanatvam, or being present. Yaha nuna vritti, meaning that which is present in less places or fewer places, or in that covers less ground, or atirikta vritti, that which covers more ground, saha tat sarupo na bhavati, that cannot be its nature. We gave illustration that just to say that cow is an animal with 4 legs would be called atirikta vritti, meaning it covers too much ground and therefore that cannot be swarupa or the nature of cow. Or to say that cow is an animal with 4 legs and having white color, then that would be called nuna vritti because it does not cover enough ground. And so only that definition of that thing, that alone can be called cow, which is only in cow and nothing more than cow and nothing less than cow. If it is less than cow, then if you just confine it to white color or black color, well, that is not the definition of cow. And if it is in more than cow, say animal with 2 horns is cow, then it will be in too many places, and then it will be more than cow. That cannot be the swarupa of cow. So yo yam nuna atirikta vritti sa tat swarupo na bhavati. Yatha, just as swashabda atmavachakaha tasya anyuna anatirikta vrittitvat. We say that pronoun swa or the self only obtains wherever Atma obtains. It obtains in place no less than Atma. It obtains in places no more than Atma. It obtains exactly where Atma obtains, and therefore Swa means Atma. However, that is not true with Tat and Idam. We will just now show that Tat and Idam, or this and that, obtain where Atma is, plus it obtains where Atma is not also, and therefore Tat and Idam cannot be called Atma. See the footnote. Tatta idantayoho na atmaswarupada tayoho atmani atmatvecha vrittitvat. So tatta and idanta are both present in Atma as well as Atmatva. Now this is technical, So there is Atma and there is Atmatva. There is self and there is Atmatva means what? Selfness, or whatever it is. Sattva. So Atma means I and Atmatva means I-ness. Okay? So that I-ness and I, in both of them, this and that can be attached to I as well as I-ness. Now I-ness is the state of being I, which according to Naiyayikas is different from I. So I-ness is called Jati and I is called Vyakti. Like cowness and cow. So what is cowness? Cowness is called a class and cow is a particular cow. That is called Vyakti or a particular member. So there is a class and there is a member. Cowness is class and a cow is member of that class, right? So they say that the class and the member are different. So cowness is one thing and cow is another thing. So Jati and Vyakti, these two are different. Who says this? Naiyayika says this. And we will now show that this Tat and Idam or this and that are present both in Atma and Atmatva, in I as well as I-ness, or self as well as selfhood or selfness, and therefore they cover more ground. If it is only present in Atma and not in Atmatva, then we will say that the Tat and Idam should be Atma, but we will show that Tat and Idam are present in Atma as well as Atmatva, which is different from Atma, and therefore Tat and Idam are present in more places than Atma, and therefore they are not Atma. This is the idea. Says Tattvedantayoho na Atma Swarupata Tayoho Atmani Atmatveti Vrittitvat. That Tatta and Vedanta both are present in Atma as well as Atmatva, and therefore there is Atirikta Vrittitvam, and therefore covering too much ground, and therefore they are not Atma. Vedanti mate jatir nasti naiyayika sammatam jatim svikritya idam uktam. Although Vedantins do not accept a distinction between class and member, or we cannot say that you can never obtain cowness as separate from cow. So we discussed earlier in the first chapter itself how we do not accept the distinction between Guna and Guni and Jati and Vyakti, etc. But Naiyayikas do, and this being their question, the answer is given in accepting that particular principle. So you take their stick and beat them, that's all it is in this case. And that is how it is shown how Tatta and Adanta is not Atma. So verse 48 says that Te atmatvetyanugate tatte dante tatastayoho Atmatvam naiva sambhavyam samyaktvader yatha tatha. Te tatte dante atmatvedi anugate. Te here is this dual, So sa te taha. Te tatte dante. These two tatta and danta atmatvedi anugate. They are found in atmatva also. As you pointed out that tatta and danta or this and that are present in atma, all right. But then they are found to be present in Atmatva also. In I also are there and I-ness also. So ness also can be this cowness or this I-ness or that I-ness. And this I and that I. And that is how this and that are present with I as well as I-ness. Means Atma and Atmatva. Tataha, therefore, tayoho Atmatvam naiva sambhavyam. Therefore, they cannot be Atma. Yatha, then you must give an illustration. Samyaktvadehi yatha tatha. Just as Samyaktvam is present in Atma and Atmatva, and therefore it is not Atma, similarly also Satta and Danta also cannot be Atma. Says the Tikakara, Tatte Dante Swatvam iva Yadyapi Tvamahamadishu Anugate Tathapi Teshu Anuvartamane Atmatvepi Anugate. So this Tatta and Danta means thatness and thisness, Swatvam, like the self, Yadyapi Tvamahamadishu Anugate, even though they are also found in Tvam Aham, etc. Tathapi Teshu Anuvartamane Atmatvepi Anugate. In Tvam, Aham and Saha, in all of them, Atma also is there and Atmatva also is there. So this Tatta and Danta is to be found in Atma as well as Atmatva obtaining in Tvam, Aham and Idam. Tat Atmatvam, Idam Atmatvam ityadi vyavahara sambhavat. Tad Atmatvam, that I-ness, Idam Atmatvam, this but they are also applicable to Atmatvam, and therefore Tayoho Atmatva Adhika Vrittitvat. Since they obtained in more places than Atmatva, Atma Swarupata na Sambhavyate. Therefore they cannot be Atma, because Nyuna Adhika Vritti Rahitatvam. It cannot be Nyuna Vritti or Adhika Vritti. Tatra Dushtantah Samyaktvadehe iti. The illustration is given here, Samyaktvadehe. Atmatvam Samyak, Atmatvam Asamyak, it is Vyavahar Vasad. So sometimes we good Atmatvam, Samyak means good or proper, Asamyak means improper. So proper and improper, just as we go with Atma and Atmatvam, so proper and improper are not Atma, and so also Tat and Idam are not Atma. Vyavahar Vasad Atmatvepi Anuvartamanoho Samyaktva Asamyaktvayoho eva ityarthah. So Samyak Atma, Asamyak Atma, and Samyak Atmatvam, Asamyak Atmatvam. So Samyak and Asamyak just as are present in Atma and Atmatva, therefore they are not Atma, and so also Tat and Idam are present in Atma as well as Atmatva, and therefore they are not Atma. This is answering in the vein of Naiyayikas. It's very frustrating sometimes. So the author comes back. Evam prasangikam parisamapya. Prasangam incidental. So sometimes incidentally some topics arise. When we talk of Ramayana, sometimes some other questions may arise, by the way, occasional things. Then sometimes we deal with them and again proceed with the main discussion, the main topic. Evam prasangikam parisamapya. Now concluding what happened, prasanga vasad jatam, whatever came out on account of this prasanga. Phalita darshanaya loka vyavahar siddham artham anuvadati. Phalita darshanaya, phalitartha darshanaya, in order to show what is the ultimate, the conclusion out of this discussion, loka vyavahar siddham artham anuvadati. He says we don't necessarily have to prove that Tat and Idam or this and that are not Atma by only the argument that we presented, but loka vyavahar siddham. But everybody also knows, so that Tat and Idam or this and that are not Atma is something that can be very well seen from loka vyavahara or from our common usage. So from our common transaction, our day-to-day transactions also, it will become very clear when we examine our day-to-day transaction that this and that are not Atma, and that is known by everybody. And this is what the ultimately teacher shows in verse 49. Tatte dante swatanyatve tvanta hante parasparam pratidvandvitaya loke प्रसिद्धे नास्ति संशयः. तत्ते दंते meaning tatta and danta, swatanyatve meaning swatam anyatvam, tvanta hante meaning tvantam ahantam, parasparam pratidvandvitaya loke prasiddhe. Loke in the world, pratidvandvitaya as pairs of opposites, prasiddhe, they are very well known as pairs of opposites or those which are mutually exclusive. Nasti samshaya, and there is no samshaya doubt in this. So everyone knows that tatta and danta, that and this, everyone knows that that is not this and this is not that. So in the world, this and that are known as pairs of opposites. That is to denote something which is remote, and this is something to denote which is in proximity, and therefore this cannot be that and that cannot be this. And this is how people know instinctively that these are pratidvandvi, meaning they are mutually exclusive or pairs of opposites. Similarly, swata anyatve, swatam means I, anyatva means another. So myself and another, these are also pratidvandvi or pairs of opposites. Everyone knows that I am not other and other is not I. This is known to everyone. Tvanta hante, and you, tvat means you, aham means I. That you and I are also pairs of opposites, meaning everyone knows that you is not I and I is not you. Parasparam pratidvandvitaya loke prasiddhe. Each one of these pairs are known very well as pairs of opposites in this world by pairs of opposites in just by the people. Nasti samshaya, and nobody has any doubt about this, that I is not you, you is not I. This is not that, that is not this. And self is not another, another is not self. This is very well known by people. And therefore, everybody knows that this and that is not Atma. Whether logically is proven or not proven is a different thing. But without logic also, everyone knows that Atma is not this because it is something else other than me. Atma is not that because that also is something other than me. And Atma is not other than me, that everyone knows. While this and that are definitely others. And therefore, anyatva cannot be in swatvam, that everybody knows. And so there is no doubt about that, that this and that cannot be Atma. Says the Tikagara, tatta pratiyogitvam idantayaha idamiti. So, tatta pratiyogitvam idantayaha. Idanta tatta pratiyogi, or idanta tatta pratiyogini, you may say. When you remove the sixth case and tvam, then you come to the proper understanding. So, tatta pratiyogitvam idantayaha. Idanta is a noun. The sixth case is idantayaha, of the idanta. Tatta pratiyogitvam. Idanta has the state of being pratiyogi or being the opposite of tatta. So idanta is that which is opposed to tatta, or that this is that which is opposed to that. So this is opposed to that. And therefore, tad idamiti prayoga nasti. So we never find this prayoga tad idam. This that is something that we never use together. Svatva pratiyogitvam anyatvasya swayam anyahiti. So the anyatvam or the otherness is something that is opposed to I-ness. So other is something that is opposed to self. That also is known by everyone. Swayam anyahiti. So swayam and anya both are pairs of opposites. Tvanta pratiyogitvam ahantayaha. That ahanta or I-ness is opposed to tvanta or you-ness. And so aham tvam aham. So this is also another pair. Iti loke pratidvandvitvena prayoga darshanat. People use these words as pratidvandvi or as those which are opposed to each other knowingly. So people also know this. So But the logic is not necessary when direct experience is there. That I know that other cannot be Atma, that cannot be this, you cannot be I. And so since people use these as pairs of opposites, it is quite clear that this Idam and Tat cannot be Atma. Okay, bhavatu evam, alright, bhavatu evam, okay, let it be so in the world. Prakriti kimayatam, what does it have, what relevance does all this have in the subject under discussion? Prakriti kimayatam, what relevance does it have in prakritam or this matter under discussion? So the verse 50 says that, Anyataya pratidvandvi Swayam kutastha ishyadam Tvantaya pratiyogyeshaha Ahamityatmani kalpitaha. Anyataya pratidvandvi swayam, that swayam of the self, which is anyataya pratidvandvi, is something that is opposed to anyata. The self, that is something that is opposed to otherness. Anyata means the other. So self, that is something that is opposed to other, kutastha iti ishyatam, that swayam may take that to be kutastha atma. So kutastha is atma, and atma excludes the idea of otherness, and swayam also excludes the idea of otherness, and therefore may you take that swayam to be kutastha atma. Then tvantaya pratiyogi esha aham. Well, I mean the sense of individuality, is what? Tvantaya pratiyogi. That sense of individuality, I, aham, is something that is opposed to Tvam or you. So Atma is that which is opposed to the idea of otherness, and I is that which is opposed to the idea of you. So that which stands in opposition to you, consider that to be aham, and that which stands in opposition to another, consider that to be Atma. Therefore we say that aham, which is opposed to you, is that which is superimposed upon Atma, which is not opposed to you. Atma is opposed to the idea of otherness, and aham is that which is opposed to you. Aham is that which is confined to this individuality, and that is opposed to anything else which is other than the individuality. Well, I, when we really come to know, will found is not confined to this individuality. In fact, there is no otherness at all. So Atma does not admit of otherness. So we will find that even the otherness ultimately is found to be mithya, and Atma swallows all otherness. So that kutastha is that which anyatayaha pratidvandvi, is something that is opposed to anyata or otherness. Not opposed to you, not opposed to something else, just opposed to otherness. Well, I am the one who is opposed to you. So we should understand now the difference between ahankara and atma. Ahankara means the sense of individuality, and that is opposed to or it excludes you. Therefore, yushmat asmat pratyaya gocharayoho. Therefore, the yushmat pratyaya is you, asmat pratyaya is I, and that you and I are something opposed to each other. Anyatva pratiyogi swayam shabdartha. That swayam shabdartha, meaning of the word swayam is anyatva pratiyogi, is that which excludes anyatvam or stands opposed to anyatvam. Tvanta pratiyogi aham shabdartha chidabhasah. Whereas aham shabdartha, meaning of the word aham, the meaning of the word ahankara is chidabhasa, that reflected consciousness, which is tvanta pratiyogi, which is something that is opposed to you. So you is different, so what that is opposed to you is that chidabhasa or the ahankara. That which is however opposed to otherness is Atma or Kutastha. So Aham Shabdatha Chidabhasah Kutasya Kalpitaha. That which is the meaning of the word Aham, which is Chidabhasah or reflected consciousness or the sense of individuality, is that which is superimposed upon Kutastha or upon the limitless self. Ityartha. This is what it all ultimately amounts to. This discussion amounts to this, that upon Kutastha Atma, this Chidabhasa or Ahankara is superimposed. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.